Day by day, I miss my beloved husband more and more. How am I to pass through this life without him who loved us so dearly? It is impossible for me to say. This morning, I have been looking over and arranging a large package of his letters written to me in the long ago and quite yellow with age. Others, more recent, and one written from his office only the Wednesday before, a few lines, playfully and tenderly worded, notifying the hour of the day he would drive with me.
The Lincolns went on a carriage ride most days, and so at around 5 on the 14th, Mary asked Lincoln if he'd like anyone to come with them, and he said no, he'd like it to just be the two of them. And it was a wonderful ride by all accounts, and it seems like that's not just rose-colored glasses looking back on it because it was their last day. It had been such a stressful time during the war, and on this ride, even people that they passed by heard them laughing and talking together in the carriage, which is lovely. They talked about their son Willie, who they'd lost several years before, and Lincoln, who didn't often talk about his own personal hopes for the future, talked about what he'd like to do. He mentioned he'd like to finish Reconstruction and finish out his term, and then take the family to Europe and maybe even Jerusalem, and return to Springfield and open a law practice there and maybe have a little farm on the banks of the river. And he may or may not have told Mary where he'd like to be buried during that carriage ride. And Mary was obviously thrilled that he was so happy, but also potentially a little unsettled because this wasn't the norm for him. And she did say to him, when he mentioned how happy he was feeling, "Don't you remember feeling so just before our little boy died?" In reference to Willie, of course. So while it was a very happy time and a lovely way to end what would be their last day together, she did have some foreboding that maybe something tragic was coming down the road.